What's up, kings and queens? It's your boy Dan from Daft Previews. I got 3 picks which I put down that I'm going to take you through today. Jumping on a live stream purely because it is late as hell at night. I'm not going to have enough time to record the video, edit it, upload it for you guys, reply to comments. So I thought, let's just hit it in live stream. I'll give you the 3 picks, and then I'll answer some questions. We'll have a good time. I'll give myself 45 minutes to an hour to chat with you guys, and we'll get the hell out of here. Now, if that sounds interesting, let's go.
Sub to the channel cause your boy's getting busy. Coming to your line from the west side of Sydney. We've got the free picks and the juice and the daily. It's all free, you don't even have to pay me.
Before we jump into the picks, we do have to recap the day that was. I only shared 2 picks with you guys, went 1-1 on those. VIP with 1.5 units under. We took a small loss. I thought there was a lot of opportunity out there on the board. Considered a lot, didn't play it, and I wish I did. Overall, 2-3 on straight picks, though. Let's talk about the only loser, Şengün, 31.5 points and rebounds. Only loser on the video, I shall say. The boards weren't there. What was interesting to see Şengün and Steven Adams playing together. At the end of the day, didn't see the rebound chances, so that was a bad read. Also bet on Quentin Grimes over 18.5 points. He was letting it fly, but he missed his first 4 shots. He finished 2 from 11. I get why he stopped shooting because he absolutely sucked. Bad bet, I say. He's been overperforming over the last few games. It's stupid to kind of assume that would keep happening. So that sucked. Peyton Pritchard. Now, this was a great bet that still lost. Over 10.5 rebounds and assists. Hooked on 10. He had 9 rebounds and assists at halftime. I was sure that this was going to cash really easy, and it didn't. What sucks, I had the option to take him at 9.5 rebounds and assists, but that was with a bit of juice, and I thought a lot of people aren't going to be able to get the 9.5, so it'd be foolish for me to play that. So I took the 10.5 at plus money, and we lost. Hit a couple of winners, though. Trae Young over 11.5 assists. Easy cash at plus money odds. Josh Hart, we have him over 19.5 points and assists. I didn't love the read of this, to be honest. I reckon we got lucky. Like, he was scoring a lot of points. The assists weren't there at all. But, hey, luck. It happens. We had a Trae Young value play. That was him, like, under 33 points, 13-plus assists. We had a Cam Thomas value play. I wish I ran a one-unit bet on him. We had a Thomas and Young doubles combo. And we hit a Tari Eason value play. That was the lean that I shared with you guys in the last video. That cashed easy. I wish I ran 1 unit on that too. So I was being probably too conservative and paid for it. But that was a quick recap. Before we jump into 3 picks, I just want to say what's up to you all. I'll jump into Props Madness while we do so. If you're interested in checking out Props Madness, you can use the code DAFT. You get a 7-day free trial, 25% off. You know, this is my go-to. Share it on every single video. So what's up to you all? Good evening to everybody out here in Australia, New Zealand. What's good? And good morning to a lot of my friends over there in the US of A. What's cooking? Let me know what time it is. I'm sure it is early as hell. Get your coffee. Let's have a little bit of fun. I plan to run this stream for the next 45 to 50 minutes. Let's see. Until I get tired enough where I got to go to bed. So we'll see. Hope you guys are doing well. What do I got happening through in the comments? A lot of good stuff. Can I finally go over using round robins on 365? Like, it's very straightforward. All you have to do is click on, I send a screenshot of it at every single pick, open up more options, and round robins is there at the bottom. Like, it's that simple. If you play the last one, it'll bet a doubles combo and a triples combo pretty much. So what's cooking? Oh, it's early. 7:40 a.m. in the East Coast, 6:40 in Nebraska, 5:39 in the 303, 4:30 where Alex Hernandez is. Go to sleep, my boy. Can you get pick'ems? I can't do pick'ems right now. The reason why I can't do pick'ems is because I need to have my computer, my phone all set up for it. So I don't have the setup for that right now. But the next live stream I'll do my normal picks and we'll do a pick'em. We'll hit them all in the same video. I'm not doing an upload for pick'ems and my normal pick videos because what I found was YouTube like nerfs my views. I pretty much get half the views I normally would, but I have to do double the work. So that doesn't make sense to me. So let's talk about some of these picks. Peak place was good. KD going crazy today. Yes, he is. That's why we got the Phoenix gear on today. KD in the thumbnail. I got my Phoenix shirt, my Phoenix snapback. Let's talk about it. So my first bet I'll talk you through here is on Kevin Durant because I'm looking for KD to go crazy today. I was inspired by the way that he closed that game out against the Clippers. Up against the Denver Nuggets today, I think he can get it done. I took Kevin Durant over 25 points, 24.5 to be exact. I'd still play this at 25.5. I think KD can get buckets. 3 days worth of rest here, so he should be feeling good. Good matchup here against Denver. Terrible against a spot up, below average against isolation and transition scorers. KD's played them twice this year. Both of these games without Devin Booker, 23 and 27 points. So he's always going to get close to it, but I just love the way he's playing right now. The other thing I'll call out is I think he even scores more points with Devin Booker in the lineup. Devin Booker himself has a somewhat difficult matchup to score points here. The Denver Nuggets, 5th fewest points to pick and roll ball handlers. We should see a creative Devin Booker here. What I mean by creative is he should be diming up, setting up the table here for someone like a Kevin Durant to score some points. Bradley Beal is also a game time decision as well. And we get a juicy total, 238. So the books are expecting some points. So, yeah, I agree. KD's the first bet I want to share with you all. I think he scores 25 or more points today. I take it at 25.5. Let's go. His rebounds, it's an interesting look too. I don't mind the rebounds. He's defending Aaron Gordon. But the lesson I learned today, I don't want to mix points and assists, points and rebounds. If points is in it, it's always going to be the higher number for most players anyway. So in order to catch that PR or PA, you kind of have to get the points. So I figured I'm just going to roll with the points for KD, but I do like him to get some boards against Aaron Gordon. So I'm all about that life. The next pick I want to take you through is, what have I got here? One on the Kings game. Let's go with the Kings game. It's the only one I'm remembering right now. We're running it back with Jonas Valanciunas. So Jonas Valanciunas has been absolutely eating as of late. Domantas Sabonis is out. Now Malik Monkey's out as well. But Jonas, he's locked in to play probably 29, 30 minutes in this game. And what I did here on Props Madness, played around with his minutes filters. And I know he's only been on the Kings for a small sample size, but that's all we can really do. But 26 to 32 minutes is what I was looking at. Taking his rebounds, 11.5. It's a plus money play, 114 on FanDuel. So I love that. Looking at Jonas Valanciunas, averaging 12.7 rebounds over in 5 out of 7 games when he plays 26 to 32 minutes. He's played this minutes range twice for the Sacramento Kings, 14 boards against the Rockets, 13 rebounds against the Denver Nuggets most recently, and he's up against the San Antonio Spurs today. And if you've been living under a rock, the San Antonio Spurs been giving up rebounds to centers like crazy, especially after the break. You can see it here, February 22nd. That was after the All-Star break when Wembanyama came out, said he's out for the rest of the season. And since that point, they've been running Bismack Biyombo at the center spot. 5 out of the last 7 centers have destroyed them on the boards. Jonas Valanciunas can be extremely efficient in a small amount of time. The San Antonio Spurs offense also sucks right now, so there's more rebound opportunities to go around. I remember when the Spurs were versus the New Orleans Pelicans in those 2 games, Kelly Olynyk had massive rebounding games. Yves Missy had big rebounding games. And that's because this Spurs team sucks. And Bismack Biyombo is like twice the age of me. So I'm liking Jonas Valanciunas to get some boards. That's my second pick. We'll get to the third pick, then I'll read through some comments and see what's cooking in there. But the third pick that I've got for you is in this Grizzlies versus Dallas Mavericks game. And I might be the only person doing this right now, but I'm betting on Naji Marshall. I'm taking him over 17.5 points. Now, he's projected to play 33 minutes, but I think he might even play more than that. And the reason why I say that is this Dallas Mavericks team only has 9 available players for this game. And 2 of those players are game time decisions. I think we've got Caleb Martin, Dante Exum. They're both game time decisions in this as well. They have no size inside. So I'm liking Naji Marshall to play a ton of minutes. He's also, if you take a look at this roster, right, the guys that they have, none of them can create their own shot. Spencer Dinwiddie is there as a guard. He can't create his own shot. He'll take shots, but he can't create them. More comfortable creating them for others. Dante Exum doesn't want to shoot. Klay Thompson can't create for himself. A lot of these young guys, Prosper, yada, 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 even Max Christie, not creating their own shots. They're relying on other people, whereas someone like a Naji Marshall can create his own shot. He can get a rebound, push in transition. He'll play 1-on-4. He doesn't give a damn. What I also like about Naji Marshall is that he plays an odd style of basketball, meaning his somewhat difficult to defend sometimes, especially when he's attacking the rim. A lot of his drop pivots and all that type of stuff. It's a very strange way to play, and it's difficult to defend. I just think Naji Marshall gets volume in this game. Like this last game against the Bucks, right? They lost by 30 points. It was a blowout. Naji Marshall was still playing garbage time because they didn't have enough people to put on the floor. Like it was insane. So I think the minutes are pretty much locked in. He's surrounded by a lot of people who can't create their own shots. So I think he sees volume. He took 18 shots against the Milwaukee Bucks. In this game, I think like 13 shots is probably a good floor. Like, and check this out. When Naji Marshall takes at least 13 shots this season, when he takes 13 shots, he's over this line in 8 out of 9 games, averaging 20.4 points per game. So like I said, even if there's a blowout, I think Naji Marshall still plays. And basketball's a game is like, even if you're getting dominated, you still get a chance, right? The other team scores, then you get the ball. So I still think he's going to see volume. How well he shoots, that I do not know. He could come out and shoot completely dog shit. Hopefully that doesn't happen. But I'm liking Naji Marshall to score over 17.5 points today. Out of everyone on this Mavs roster right now that's available to play, he's the only person that I think I can count on to get some buckets. So I'm rolling with that. That's my Naji Marshall play. Let's jump into the chat and see what's cooking. Let me switch over so you guys can see my my Phoenix paraphernalia. What do you guys think of the drip? Is the fit looking all right, or do I look like a damn child? All right, so what are some of the more recent questions? What do we got? So I have put a slow mode on this just because some of you guys like to spam the chat like crazy and I can't keep up. Kyrie out. Do we trust Max? I want to take his unders. Yeah, I don't know. Max Christie, 15.5. It's quite high. Hasn't been getting there. And he took 16 shots in that last game against the Bucks. Just shot awfully, right? He might take 15 shots again. He's got a decent matchup to score some points. So I don't know. I wouldn't be down to fade Max, but who knows? Whole house on Strus points. What's the angle here? What's the angle on Max Strus to score some points today? He's been playing okay recently. Could say that. Had 9 points against Charlotte. Yeah, I don't see the edge. Yeah, there's a blowout. Does Max Strus get more minutes when there's a blowout? Let's look at games where they win by at least 15. He doesn't get more minutes, but he clearly plays well. Max Strus, I don't mind it, 8.5. You got Naji too? Let's fucking go. Oh, man. We got a Mobley over 17.5. So one thing that'll help me out, if you're going to put up picks that you like put a reason why in there, just so I know what the hell the scoop is. So this Cleveland-Charlotte game, I didn't really consider it too heavily. Like, we've got a pending blowout, 17 points. The Cleveland Cavaliers, very healthy, right? They're not missing anybody for this particular game. Charlotte, obviously missing Mark Williams. Evan Mobley could have a good game. Jared Allen could have a big game. If Garland or Mitchell are hot, they probably keep shooting. Ty Jerome can go off the bench. DeAndre Hunter can heat up as well. Like, this is a whole lot of players who can get buckets, and it's difficult for me to choose one. That's all I'm going to say on the Mobley over. So any leans on that Cavs game? My lean is let's wait. I'm personally waiting for the Cavs bench. I'm waiting for their lines to come out. We'll see what happens. Jared Allen rebounds. Yeah, it's a good look. Like I said, my only concern here is the blowout. Like, a lot of people are going to be betting on Jared Allen because of this. In 3 games against the Charlotte Hornets, he's done pretty well. All right. But keep in mind, in those games, Cleveland won by 14, 14, and 10. Like, they didn't even blow Charlotte out. The spread is 17. If Cleveland do blow them out, Jared Allen's the first person that sits on the bench. So that's my only concern with betting on Jared Allen. In blowouts, he plays the least minutes. Klay Thompson under points. Look, I considered it, but he took like 20-something shots against the Bucks, and he might do that again. So it's just the volume. And yeah, the Mavs don't have many players off the bench to replace him with. They got no young guys that they're developing right now. So yeah, it's pretty risky, but it makes sense to me. Klay Thompson also has a somewhat decent matchup too. So just keep that in mind. Walker Kessler, 12.5 boards. That's a pretty high line. So I didn't really touch that. I barely even touched it. Utah and Raptors. You see what the Raptors did against Orlando? That team is clearly tanking. Now we've got Utah, who is clearly tanking as well, given how they rest all of their players. So a game with two teams that are tanking. I don't want to bet any overs. I don't want a piece of it. Like my only lean in that game, I was looking at Jacoby Walter over 13.5 points, but there's no data to really back it up. So yeah, that's my thoughts on it. Zach Edey, does he have a decent matchup? Let me think about it. Zach Edey versus the Mavs, like there's a clear size advantage, of course. The Grizzlies play faster than the Dallas Mavericks anyway, so you could argue that he does have a good matchup to get points and to get rebounds. You're pretty much looking at 9.5 points and 9.5 rebounds for Zach Edey. I'm assuming Zach Edey's projected to play about 20 minutes in this game. Actually, more, 25 minutes we're seeing as a projection for Zach Edey. I'm going to have a quick look, and I'm not sharing my screen with you all, but I'll tell you what I see. I just want to look at Zach Edey. If you're looking at 23 to 27 minutes, I'm liking Zach Edey today. I'm just going to call that out. Points looks fantastic. Rebounds are a little bit average. Hey, they're a bit how you going, as we would say here in Australia. But you could look at points and rebounds for Zach Edey. You could look at Zach Edey for a double-double. You can look at Zach Edey for over 9.5 points. I think it all looks pretty good. He should have his way with this Dallas Mavericks defense. That's a good look. Thanks for sharing that. Can I tell you another points prop? Look, nothing that I've already shared. Like, there's a lot of game time decisions right now. So, yeah, I think it's best to wait until lineups are confirmed. What else have we got? You're looking at Joe Val's rebounds. Me too. We on it. Kessler, two teams tanking. 80 plus money rebound. Yes, let's go. SGA is out today, so the lines in that Thunder game are ridiculous. Like, I couldn't tell you what happens in that one. I will say this, though. Aaron Wiggins probably going to be a popular look today. He tends to score the most points when everybody is out. But up against Portland today, he's most likely going to get to Tumani Kamara as his key defender. And Tumani Kamara shuts down everybody. So just, I guess, keep that in mind. Might be a live bet. If Kamara's on Wiggins, I think Wiggins is going to be in trouble. But if he's not, then Wiggins has a great chance to score some points. What's a two-leg that I would run? I would just run with, what am I thinking? I think Jonas Valanciunas boards is great, and then KD overs. Like, yeah, 2 out of the 3 that I shared today. Tell me something good. It was horrible last night. I can't guarantee any of that. Keon Ellis, points and assists, over in 10 out of 12 with 30 plus minutes. I did take a look at this for Keon Ellis, and he is over. The hit rate is nice, but the matchup is not that great. I think this is also a popular play because I'm noticing the lines moving quickly. The odds are shifting. So, yeah, Keon Ellis, it's a good look depending on what line you got. Once it moved a couple of points, then I was like, that's a no from me. That's way too much movement for me to handle. So, yeah, I pass on Keon Ellis. Yeah, I agree. The whole OKC is out tonight. Look, Chet's a game time decision. We don't even know if he's going to play. So it'll be one to watch. I don't know if it's something that I necessarily want to bet on because I don't know who's going to do what. I don't know who's going to control the ball, where the usage is going to be, how the defense is going to be for OKC. Like, it's strange. You got to dive real deep to figure that out. Something I might do once lineups are clearer. Am I running back Bryce today? I honestly considered it. Honestly, the amount of times that I've bet on a player, and I'm pretty sure you might get this too, the amount of times I bet on a player, they suck in the following game, absolute kings. Like, what was it? Klay Thompson. Remember that? For those of you who watch me every day, I bet on Klay Thompson over 3.5 3-pointers. I think that was against the Sacramento Kings or something, where he had a great matchup, and he sucked. That was a game Kyrie got injured. Yeah. And Klay was like 1 from 3 or something. He barely shot the ball. The very next game, he went crazy. Hit 5 3-pointers against the Milwaukee Bucks, I think. Or maybe even 6. Let me take a look. Yeah, he hit 6 3-pointers. So this is Klay Thompson when I bet on him. He goes 1 from 3 from deep. And then 6 3-pointers against the Milwaukee Bucks. So the bounce back is definitely real. Bryce Sensabaugh, bet him over his points prop in the last game. Lines aren't available for him right now, but yeah, that's definitely one that I'll be checking out. But it depends who plays. Colin Sexton might be in, Walker Kessler, yada, yada, yada. So If they're out, then yeah, Bryce is a good look. Spurs give up a ton of boards to centers. Yes, they do. Bam unders. That's a bit rude. Scam Adebayo against the Wolves. 19.5 points is quite a high line, but I think it's because Miami are missing a lot of people. So naturally, his line's going to be a little bit higher. You can't necessarily rely on the data. He probably sees more usage rates. So I'm saying be careful around those unders because the Wolves aren't even playing good defense right now. So you got to keep that in mind. LaMelo under his PRA. I haven't really bet on LaMelo for a while, probably 6 to 8 weeks. The last time I bet on LaMelo Ball, that injury and everything that's happening, it's not a safe bet in any way. Unders or overs, we don't know when he's going to get injured. We don't know when he's going to take 25 shots. Like there's no Mark Williams in this game for Charlotte, so previously to LaMelo's injury, when Mark Williams is out, LaMelo go crazy. Oh, sorry. He'll go crazy, tons of volume, but he's not necessarily built like that anymore. Tough matchup against Cleveland, blowout. So I would lean to the under for sure. But again, there's a lot of reasons for me not to bet it. So yeah, I'll probably pass on that. I identify as a knight, neither king nor queen. Stop offending me, please. Oh, I love that. I'm not changing my introduction though. It's autopilot. Austin Reeves now on my do not bet list with Paolo. That list is probably long. Randall over his rebounds and assists. He's been playing great since his return, and he has. And part of the reason why Julius Randle's been playing like good the minute he came back was like he was practicing 5-on-5 with the team for quite some time. I think he only missed more time than he had to because him and his partner had a baby or something like that. But yeah, the rebounds and assists have been popping. Lines at 11.5. He's hit that in 2 or 3 games since he's come back from injury. Up against Miami, it makes a ton of sense. It really does. I'd personally be looking at maybe just the boards. Miami, not a great rebounding team, especially with only one big in the lineup. Although they do have Kevin Love, but yeah, probably the boards. I think that really interests me around Julius Randle, but yeah, not enough for me to want to bet. I was hoping that someone would say this. Well, I knew somebody would. Fox Revenge. I think a lot of people are going to bet on De'Aaron Fox up against the Sacramento Kings today, and it makes sense. I can't bet on it purely because I know how bad De'Aaron Fox has been playing lately, and it's not like you just throw the form out the window. Like how somebody has been playing is important. The matchup is also important, but a lot of people are betting De'Aaron Fox because he used to play for the Sacramento Kings, and if he goes off, I tip my hat off to you. But if he loses, like, how do you explain that? Like, I bet on De'Aaron Fox knowing he's not playing good, and I expected him to. Like, yeah, it's not something I can roll with, but don't let me talk you out of it. So De'Aaron Fox, there will be some revenge there. There's a little bit of animosity between him and that organization. So I get it. It makes sense. Ryan says, I wanted to take Fox under, but he's been horrible. There you go. And his hand is injured. So do you bet he's over because it's a revenge factor, or do we factor all these things in too, right? What do we got? Bulls kept it close. The Hornets can too. Look, potentially. They potentially could. And then the Cavs could just blow them out in the fourth quarter. That's true. So they could get some run time. Chet over 7.5 rebounds with no Isaiah Hartenstein. Potentially, like Chet was rebounding okay earlier in the season without Chet. He averaged 8.7 boards. In some matchups, he killed it. Some he did not. His last matchup against Portland wasn't that great with no Isaiah Hartenstein, but I'm pretty sure he got injured or something in that game. Like he only played 18 minutes. Maybe it was a blow. I'm not too sure. But yeah, I don't know who's going to do what for that OKC game. And I'm not afraid to admit that. I'm just not going to bet it. I'm going to stay away. Simon's under threes or PRA. We already know what OKC does to guards. And look, that is true. OKC is a devilish matchup, especially for guards. The problem is a lot of those players who make it difficult aren't playing. Dort's not playing. Cason Wallace isn't playing. SGA is not playing, right? And they're the only one who is playing is Alex Caruso, who I don't rate as highly as the others when it comes to playing defense. So I'd say just keep that in mind before you start taking unders against OKC. Quickly over his points and rebounds. RJ out. Pirtle out, more volume. And yes, I agree with you completely. It's a good look. But the thing I can't get out of my brain is that this Toronto Raptors team are tanking. They're trying to lose them. That bullshit they pulled against Orlando, I still haven't been able to get out of my mind. Like, the starters not playing the fourth. That doesn't make any sense in a close game. So, and I'll tell you what sucked about that. It's as if the starters knew it was going to happen. Like, if you looked at the bench, all the starters were smiling, they were happy, having a conversation. They weren't looking at each other like, why are we not getting played? Like, when do I get to get on the court? There was none of that happening. They were all happy as if they knew they weren't going to be playing that fourth quarter. So, yeah, that's what I'm thinking there. Jaden McDaniels over his points and assists. Barnes and Fox over PRA. Jaden McDaniels could be an interesting look because he's just been balling. Like, even with Julius Randle coming back, Jaden McDaniels has been coming with it. He's been scoring a lot of points. He's got a pretty good matchup as a spot-up shooter here against Miami to get some points. The assists, I probably don't love that as much, but yeah, just the points for Jaden McDaniels, it makes a ton of sense to me. Should see a lot of minutes, so yeah, I rate that. Barnes, I've got no thoughts on, and De'Aaron Fox, like I said just previously, the revenge game means nothing to me. Colin Sexton over 16.5 points. That's the same thing. Like, Sexton, he'll be there. I don't know if the minutes are going to be there though, because again, Jazz, similar to the Raptors, they're just tanking right now. Like, I can't take any of those players seriously. All right, what else have we got? Anthony Edwards over 5.5 assists at plus money. Let's take a look at Ant. He's got a decent matchup to get some assists against the Miami Heat. I don't tend to bet Anthony Edwards assist props all too often because he's not a pass first type of guy. I think Julius Randle being back in the lineup, I wonder if that helps or not. Like, I'd like to see more. Let's just say that. I know without Randle, like, the assists are okay. With Randle in the lineup, we're looking at a 44% hit rate, so it's not that good. So that I'm not saying to bet the under because of that, but so unless you have an angle and a way that you can explain it outside of plus money, then yeah, I think it's going to be real close. It'll be sweaty. Wiggins projected for 21.5. Oh, Aaron Wiggins. Yeah. Yeah, so that just comes down to the Tamani Kamara matchup. How does he go there? So if Kamara matches up with him, then it might be difficult for him. Dante DiVincenzo PRA. He's hit this in 4 straight games now. So the PRA has been nice. He's got a good matchup here against Miami as well to score some points, that's for sure. Assists and rebounds, those are a little bit questionable as to how and if they come. So I'd personally probably just lean to the points. The hit rate's not as good as the PRA, but at least it's easy to explain. Like, you're not just relying on luck. You can look at an angle here. He's got a good matchup to score some points. I'd personally probably be looking at 3-pointers, but 3.5 3-pointers made for Dante is plus money. I'd consider that, but obviously if I bet on 3-point props, they lose and the points one's hit. So that's what I'd be thinking. Money lines, I haven't even considered who wins these games or not, so I can't help you there, my man. DeRozan, PRA, Sabonis, Monk out. Yeah, I think DeRozan is their go-to guy now. What's the PRA line? We're looking at 36.5, had 46 PRA against Denver. Did score 35 points. He took 32 shots in that game. So if we're going to see that type of volume and usage rate from DeMar, then hell yeah, I like the over. I think another thing to factor in is he's always kind of played good against the Spurs since he got traded from there. Or he left from there. So yeah, DeMar, I get it. Mikal Bridges over 2.5 boards. So that Knicks game I've barely looked into, right? Don't know if Brunson's going to play. I'd also ask you to factor this in. The Knicks just played OT against the Lakers. They're in a back-to-back set as well. I know Tibbs is a psychopath, but does he continue to run his starters into the ground? Like, that's my only concern. Stefan Castle over his PRA. I do like what Castle's been doing as of late. My only concern here is, will he get the amount of minutes he has been seeing? Because lately he's been seeing really strong minutes, 30-plus minutes in 3 out of his last 4 games. And his hit rate when he plays 30-plus minutes is fantastic. Over this line in 15 out of 19 games. Up against the Kings, does De'Aaron Fox get more minutes? Does this revenge and everything actually happen? That's the only question mark. But
at the surface, looking at Stephon Castle, yeah, the PRA I think is a good look. It's something I'm probably going to look into more further in the morning. Mobley points or rebounds. I'm worried about the blowout in that game, so I didn't really consider it too much, if I'm being honest with you. Ja under 11.5 rebounds and assists for Ja Morant up against Dallas. I don't know what the angle is here. I hope it's more than just hit rate. So at 11.5, he's hit this in 10 out of 27. So if you're looking at hit rate, you definitely lean to the under there. Dallas, though, getting absolutely smoked. Like, it could be lob city. Like, he could throw a whole lot of lobs. But if there is a blowout, perhaps, then Ja's not going to see the time. So, yeah, I'd lean to the under. But as you know, I don't like betting him. We got Bane points and rebounds. Bane's been an animal, just consistent as hell. I tend to usually just bet on his PRA, but that's been a little bit shaky as of late. Hasn't been as consistent, and the line is quite high, 33.5 for his PRA. And again, there is a blowout risk. And Dallas, surprisingly, are pretty good at limiting points above the break. Where they get destroyed is points for whoever chooses to drive the ball. That's where they can find themselves in a little bit of trouble. For those outside shooters, they do a decent job of slowing them down. No popular bets. The Jokic over 22.5 rebounds and assists killed me. I think one thing to keep in mind is if you lose one bet and it kills you, you're in the wrong game, my man. And it's hard to avoid popular bets. Like, if I don't know if they are, like, I can make assumptions as to what I think is going to be popular because some bets are easier to find than others. But at the same time, I've chosen not to play a lot of popular bets, and a lot of the time they do win. Like, I think what happens with popular bets, though, they give us this false hope because everybody thinks it's going to win, and it hurts more when they lose. So I'm not going to pick and choose which popular or not popular bets I play. I'm just going to look at the numbers, do my research, and if the bet looks good, then I'm just going to bet it. I don't care if it's popular or not. Like Naji Marshall, I think that looks like a great bet, but it might not be popular because it requires a little bit of digging to dive into. I'm not buying into it. I don't normally buy into it, though, if I'm being honest with you. And it is a good angle, but I need more than just that as a reason to take it, is what I'm saying. I think there is definitely a revenge narrative. I think he's going to be motivated as hell to do well. But Darren Fox might need more than just motivation to hit that line. Clippers spread with Knicks back-to-back. Probably no Brunson. Potentially. You'd have to dive into it, right? Because some teams actually play really good on back-to-backs and some teams are awful. The Knicks, I don't know whether they're good or not on back-to-backs because I don't bet spreads that often anyway. Do I have any future bets? No, I don't bet on futures. I don't like tying my money up for a long period of time, so I'll pass on that. Chris Dunn, rebounds and assists. Yes, Chris Dunn, rebounds and assists have been fantastic. He'll get a lot of minutes. I get the angle here. It makes sense to me. Knicks may be a little bit tired. I think the concern here is we're looking at a game total of 219, so potentially looking at a slow pace here. So it might be difficult for those rebounds and assists to come. So probably consider that when you do your research. DeAndre Hunter points. Yeah, like I said, I think there's 5 or 6 different Cavs players that can go off in that game against Charlotte. Like, that's why I'm not betting on it. It could be anybody. It could be Hunter, Mobley, Allen, Garland, Mitchell, Ty Jerome, Max Strus, Mike. Yeah, there's a lot of options. Jokic under 51.5 points, rebounds, and assists. Yeah, after that last game, it makes sense. But at the same time, he's playing the Phoenix Suns today, and the Suns have been dog shit. I know they just got that win against the Clippers, but for the most part, their defense sucks. We're looking at a game total of 238. So, yeah, it's going to be a little bit sweaty. But at the same time, Nikola Jokic is still a game-time decision. So, probably still impacted by that injury. So, let's keep that in mind. Couple of mentions on Max Strus. We've spoken about him. We've spoken about Dante Valanciunas over his boards. Yes, we down. We on that. Let's go. Spencer for hire. Under 17.5 points. Yep. Spencer Dinwiddie. I like the under there. He's going to be pass first. So I'm down with that. Could you please give me a tip of 1.5x or 2x so I could potentially double my stake? Thinking of £1,000. I'm not going to give you those bets. Nuh-uh. Then you're going to come back and say I cost you $1,000. Not happening. I'll share with you my best bets, though, what I've got. Jonas Valanciunas to go over his rebounds. Kevin Durant to score 25 points. And Naji Marshall over 17.5 points. Take what you like. and leave what you don't. Nick Smith Jr. under 18.5 points, rebounds, and assists. So, yeah, I don't know. Nick Smith Jr., they've got a lot of outs, a lot of game time decisions. He's probably going to see a lot of time, Nick Smith Jr. And, yeah, the matchup's tough against Cleveland. But Cleveland, if they play with their food for the first 3 quarters, then, Nick Smith Jr. could get busy in that time. So that's all I'd say worry about. Joe Val, absolutely. I like the overs on Jonas Valanciunas. Probably the most straightforward bet of the day. So I'd assume that would be a popular play, Jonas Valanciunas, but it makes the most sense. If Kessler is playing, then what about Filipowski under on rebounds? If Kessler plays, what about Filipowski? Well, the question is like I don't have Filipowski's line right now, so I couldn't tell you over or under. I also don't know how many minutes they're going to play. Like, it's weird. When teams are tanking, the starters still might play, but they'll play less minutes and the bench might get more of a run. Like, it's strange. It's too hard to predict. So it's too early for me to make that call right now. I like Fox unders. His fingers be banged up. And yeah, it makes a ton of sense. But then you got to factor in the revenge part, right? Like, what if the revenge naturally heals those fingers on his shooting hand and he gets buckets? Hey, Beastie, let's go. 7.45 or $50. Some parlay action. Christian Braun, points and rebounds. That's interesting. So for Christian Braun, good hit rate with his points and rebounds. What I'd probably ask you to wait for is Aaron Gordon. So if Gordon is out, then it's probably a great look. If Aaron Gordon is in, it might be a little bit difficult. I'm not saying it will be, but I think that's one thing to factor in with Christian Braun. The Wolves to cover the spread, 9.5 points against Miami. Look, Miami are banged up right now. It makes a whole lot of sense. But yeah, can you trust the Wolves? Like, I don't know. That's why I don't bet spreads. It's like 9.5 is big. Like, the Wolves can comfortably win and still potentially lose that bet. That's all I'm saying. Devin Vassell to get some assists, 2.5. Up against the Kings. Yeah, I think there's a lot of opportunity for assists, especially with low lines like that. I don't mind Devin Vassell to get some dimes. Prize picks, got Joe Val at 11 flat. Yes, take it. I think that's a good look. Sacramento Queens. All right, what do we got? Simon's under 3s. I'm not going to play any unders on Simon's because all the good defenders from OKC aren't really playing. So keep that in mind. I just realized I'm 15 minutes behind the chat, but a lot of you guys saying very similar things. I'm going to look for something different. Jared Allen. Spoken about Jared Allen. I think he's got a great history against Charlotte, but you have to keep in mind in the 3 games against Charlotte, they weren't blowouts, whereas this one could be. Jared Allen is usually the first person not to play long minutes whenever they're in a blowout position. How do I feel about Nurkic 8.5 boards? I feel like, yeah, you can't trust his minutes right now. Like, I don't know how much time. He could get 15 minutes. He could get 20. He could get 25. Because they still got Diabate just waiting, itching to go, whereas Nurkic doesn't seem too interested in playing. But he does, like, have a decent matchup. Like, a lot of people are like, oh, Cleveland, tough matchup. They got 2 bigs down there with Mobley and Allen, but a lot of bigs rebound very well against Cleveland. Like, just because you got 2 bigs in there doesn't mean it's hard. So we're seeing a pretty high line for Nurkic. It just moved to 9.5 on some books. So the over 8.5, depending on what odds you get on it, I'd support that. It makes a ton of sense. It's probably going to be at 9.5 as a closing line. Yes. 24.5 points, another day at the office. Slim Reaper. Don't make me say terrible things about you tomorrow, Kevin Durant. I need you to get this 25. How is Mobley over 30.5 PRA? He's 10-1 in the last 11. I'm worried about the blowout. How is the matchup? The matchup for Mobley is average. It's not difficult, but it's not like a really easy one. Like, Charlotte's weird. They're one of those teams that, like, defensively, they're like average to everything. Average with transition. Like, they're actually pretty good against pick and roll men. They're pretty good against spot up. So I'd probably say his matchup is somewhat difficult when it comes to scoring points. But at the end of the day, this Charlotte team is shit defensively. So it kind of balances out. So the Mobley matchup's not too bad. But I think the line is low at 30.5 because of that blowout. And Evan Mobley's a low volume guy. He doesn't take a lot of shots either. So, yeah, that's one thing I'll say. We've got Chicago tanking too. The Sixers have joined the tank. I know this tanking bullshit. Like, it's good if you know, but when it catches you by surprise, it's crazy. Braun PR over 21.5. Sun shot 53s last game. Should lead to a lot of rebound and transition buckets. That's a really good look. I like it if Jokic is playing. Does well to as an outlet pass in transition. That makes sense. And if the Suns aren't making a lot of threes, then there's going to be some long rebounds too. So, yeah, that makes sense. Cat under 41.5 PRA. This is a nice look. I was actually thinking something similar. As a lot of people are like, oh, Brunson's most likely out. Let's bet the over on Cat. I don't think it works that way with Cat. Like, most of the time he sucks. And he's playing on a back-to-back today. It's going to be easy to defend the Knicks with no Brunson. So, yeah, it's just the matchup. He's got an advantage against Zubac on the perimeter. So, I'd probably keep that in mind. But I definitely lean towards the under for Cat. You're holding off on the Minnesota props until you get Gobert news. Yeah, and so you should. Like, a lot of these games are impacted by game time decisions. I would encourage you guys to just wait. Wait until you know who's in the lineup, because it's quite impactful. Jokic over his boards, like, yeah, it makes sense, but Jokic, we don't know if he's going to play. We don't know if Aaron Gordon's going to play. So what I'm trying to say here, and I'm probably repeating myself, is like, if there are game time decisions that are going to impact the prop that you're choosing to take, then just don't bet it. Like, you can bet it, just don't bet it now. just wait, because a lot of bullshit happens, especially closer to the games. Josh Hart over assist. You doubt that? Yeah, I had a conversation with someone today. They asked me, does Josh Hart take on the playmaking role with Jalen Brunson out? And I thought, yeah, look, potentially. But you got to keep in mind, these guys played OT. They're on a back-to-back. Josh Hart, he's dealing with some sort of injury as well. I don't know how effective he's going to be. I'd probably be thinking about someone like a Miles McBride. And I haven't looked into the numbers yet, but that's just what my casual opinion is. Yes, Stephon Castle, PRA. I like it. I like the PRA. If I remember, I'll probably bet the PRA after I'm done with the stream. Chances are I forget about it. I'll wake up in the morning, which is going to be in like 6 hours from now. I'll go to bed his PRA, and it's probably moved up 2 points. I'm going with KD points, although I do like Booker's assist. KD points is what I'm rolling with, though, because, I could see Young Jones taking some assists as well. So, whereas with KD, I think he gets buckets here. No one's stealing KD's points. Kai, how are you, my friend? How are you? Castle going for that rookie of the year, and so he should. Like, it's a pretty weak field. A lot of the rookies haven't been great this season, so I was looking at Jar 2 for points. Only reason is for how they lost to OKC and how pissed he was about non-calls. Yeah, I don't know. Can you carry that much anger for a few days? Potentially. Like, I think the motivation will be there, but if the game's not competitive, does Jar keep pushing? I haven't seen him really have that dog. Donovan Mitchell, very much the same as all the other Cavs players. I ain't touching none of these guys in this game. Miles Bridges going to get buckets today. 32.5 PRA, points at 21. Love both in a blowout game. Well, Miles Bridges, like, cares, which is good. Like, a lot of these guys don't give a shit. A lot of these starters, these guys who have made it. Miles Bridges gets a second chance in the NBA after that bullshit he pulled a couple of years ago. So maybe he's really just taken the most out of the opportunity. So, yeah, I like betting overs on Miles Bridges. He's been balling. First quarter points, yeah. I think if you're looking at Cleveland players, then yeah, first quarter points, it's probably a safer option. It removes the whole blowout, but I guess my concern is who? Who do you take? I haven't done any research into that, so I couldn't tell you. Almost like the players have incentive not to do when it's popular. I think it feels that way, but honestly, if I'm being honest with you, I don't think it's true. I don't think it's true. I just think like when a play is so popular, it's so easy to find, it fills you with so much hope and confidence that it's going to win because everybody else is doing it. The truth is, when we talk about everybody else, we're talking about the majority of people actually just lose money gambling. They're losing bettors. So if it's popular and everybody's on it, it's not a bad sign because the game is rigged. It's probably a bad sign because it could be a bad bet. That's all I'll say. Yeah, waiting on Bill news. Nuggets give up. Yes, they give up so many assists. The Nuggets. I'm waiting on some news as well on who's going to get them. Like, is it going to be bloody Nick Richards? It could be someone like Nick Richards. What else have we got? Lex says he's fading all of my picks. Y'all tail all you want. Good luck, Lex. Fade him, my friend. Take KD under his points. Naji Marshall under his points. And take Jonas Valanciunas under his rebounds. And then come back to me. Have you been balling up lately? My shot has been getting crisp, almost like a young Rip Hamilton. Hopefully you guys remember who Rip Hamilton is. I have been balling, but I haven't been playing very well. Like, I feel like the older I get when I'm playing, the more like I'm like a 50-year-old Chris Paul right now. Like, I make more and more and more as I play. Like, sometimes I'll play 40 minutes in a game and not even attempt a shot. Like, I'll just be diamond everybody up. So my shot is I wouldn't say crisp, it's disgusting. That's what it is. You're on the money, definitely a reliable source. I appreciate you, my man. I appreciate it. Revenge or it's B-Day narrative, usually the ones who shit the bed. Yeah. And look, I wouldn't say that it's like those narratives are the reasons why the bets lose. It's just we put too much stock. I actually did some research today. ChatGPT has this deep research function at the moment. And I made it do this deep research into some things related to player props. And it's like, there's something called, hang on, let me just open it up. I'll see if I can read some of it to you. And it's about, there's qualitative research and there's I can't remember it, but there are statistics and there's analytics, right? Usage rate, minutes, opportunities, all those things. But then there are these other factors like your motivation, whether players are on contract years, whether it's a revenge narrative, whether it's their birthday, whether they're playing in their hometown. Like, all those things do add a little bit to a player's potential to overperform, but people overstate how big and how important that factor is, which is why these revenge narratives or birthday narratives can feel like such a letdown because they fill you with hope. Whereas in reality, it should be icing on the cake. It shouldn't be the reason why you bet something. You should like the bet as it is. Like Darren Fox, if you like his over in points, would you like his over in points if he didn't play for the Sacramento Kings? Like, based on all the other stats and metrics and things you know about basketball? Because if you do, and all those things check out, and it's against his old team, then hell yeah, there's a little bit of icing on the top. So that's all I'll say about that. Michael Porter Jr. for 8 boards. Again, is Jokic playing? Is Aaron Gordon playing? Yeah, I can't make a call on that right now. I don't want to lead you astray. Nurkic over 11.5 rebounds and assists. I think he's projected to play 20 minutes in this game without Mark Williams. In a blowout, he probably doesn't. But if there's no blowout, then I think this is probably a good look. If there is a blowout, then that's risky as hell. Y'all act like unders don't cash. All I hear is over. Book set lines for bettors who think just like that. And Lex, that is completely true. The part where you said book set lines for bettors who think just like that. It's true. And everybody should know this. Books do set player props and lines like 1 or 2 points higher than where they actually think they're going to land, which is why you're more likely to finish on the hook and lose than you are to finish on the hook and win, because they know that sports bettors do have a bias to the over. So slight edge to the books, Lex is correct, but I wouldn't just go out there hunting unders because of that reason. Hey, enjoy your lunch, my man. Good morning, Dan. Zubac rebounds up against the Knicks. Now, the challenge here for Zubac is if Anthony Towns decides to play on the perimeter the whole time, it might be difficult for Zubac to get these boards. I've got no stats to back that up. That's just my casual take from watching a lot of games. All right, I'm just scrolling through real quick. 80 double-double for a half unit at plus 250. Someone had mentioned a soft matchup and high projections. Yeah, I'd go with this at plus 250. It's not a bad look. Zach Edey, I like that at half a unit. Good bankroll management. Let's go. Daft, when you're doing the filters, what's the difference when you move that line from the left to the right? When you move it from 30 to 15, sometimes you move it from 1 to 15. What's the difference? So when I move things from 30 to 15, it means I'm excluding the worst 15 teams. When I move it to 1 to 15, I'm excluding the best 15 teams. That's pretty much how that scale works. Thoughts on the Lakers' floor and ceiling on the season? I think the Lakers. I think the Lakers make the playoffs. That's for sure. How far they go depends on who they match up with and the health of Luka and LeBron. To be honest, but those guys are playing so much better than I thought they would. Part of me hates it a little bit, but no, the Lakers have been balling. Congrats to both of those guys. They're killing it. If Brunson sits McBride over threes, I don't know. It doesn't have I guess the matchup could be difficult to get these threes, though. That's all I'd worry about. I don't know how that Knicks team's going to play because Brunson's been reliable as hell. He doesn't miss many games. So you're kind of just guessing as to what would happen. And I ain't about that life. Like, we do enough guessing in gambling. Like, I'm going to guess on something that I don't have data on. Nuh-uh, I ain't doing it. Would you take KD over 25.5 for minus 105? Yes, I would. Yes, I would. Anything you like from OG tonight against the Clippers? Well, I wouldn't say I like it tonight against the Clippers, but I think just OG in general. He stepped up in the pecking order in terms of scoring. Mikal Bridges is on the way out, whereas OG has stepped up. So I think just watching his points props moving forward, I think is something to look out for. Would never blame you if you lost 1,000. Definitely not wise to make a bet of 1,000 on sports, but with pro bankroll management, could it be possible to do this for a living? Of course it would be. Of course it's possible to do it for a living, but would you want to? Like, I've gotten to the point where I'm not proud to say this, but I've bet like $5,000 units before. And a lot of people are like, wow, like I can't wait to get to that point. And all I say to them is, no, you don't. Like, you have potential to win 10 to 15,000 in a day, but you could also lose $10 to $15,000 in a day. So that feeling of losing that much money can cause you to spiral. And then when your head's not in the game, you make stupid decisions. And that's what happened to me, which is why I only bet with $100 unit sizes now to keep myself in check. Even like this NBA season, I'm up almost 20, how much? 25 grand, I think. Yeah. About 20 to 25,000. I don't remember. It's scattered across books, right? But even though I'm up that much money, I still refuse to bet any more than $100 a unit. So, yeah. Good matchup for Chris Paul assists against the Kings. Yeah, it's a decent matchup. But Chris Paul, I wouldn't say the Spurs are tanking, but they aren't really playing for anything. Line at 7.5 for Chris Paul. But also this Kings team, they're not the same defense without Sabonis. Like, with Sabonis, you know that he's going to be in the way when somebody drives to the rim. He's going to be there, which is why he picks up so many fouls. He's always in the way. Whereas Joe Val is going to let you through sometimes, right? They're probably going to give up some layups. So they're going to give up probably less assists than they have been all season. And that's a very casual take. I've got no stats to back that up, but that's what I'm thinking. Jamal for 20 again. I'd like to wait for Linus to be confirmed. Anything for the NRL tomorrow? I haven't cooked it up yet. I'll work on that tomorrow. But if you wait on putting that bet down, you come back to it later, it's usually either bumped or removed. And I get that. Now, as somebody who gets a lot of my accounts restricted, beating closing lines all the time, it's not something I necessarily want to do anyway. And because I'm sharing the picks and like sending them to people, I don't want to bet someone at 30.5 and then in 4 hours time when other people finally get it, it's at to 33 or 34, right? It's unplayable for a lot of the people who are getting picks from me. So I don't want to put a lot of people in that position. I can make bets and try to anticipate who's playing and who isn't, but I don't think that's fair to a lot of people who are asking me to send them the picks either. So I don't want to do too many angles like that. Plus, if I'm wrong, how am I supposed to explain it to people? What else have we got? Why isn't last night's results in the VIP like usual? What do you mean? Last night's results? You mean these ones? I showed this at the top of the video. We were down minus 1.5 units, went 2 and 3 in straight picks, and we got some value plays. I don't know what you're talking about, Willis. All right, what else we got? Kessler over 13.5. It's too high. I don't know how many minutes he's going to play. What else we got? I need some new stuff, chat. Do you guys read the chat, by the way? I always question this because a lot of the times I see the same messages over and over again from like different people. Read the chat so we can not do the whole double up thing. What do we got? Denny for 25 PRA. Like that guy is probably going to get injured again. To make that 25,000, how many bets do you place a day on average? I think I place between 15 and 30. But you have to keep in mind, I'm not doing 15 to 30 units a day. 15 to 30 is like total bets. I usually have like between 5 and 10 straight bets. Those are 1 unit. And then I have like heaps of parlays, but I only bet a little bit on them. So at the end of the day, I probably finish with 15 to 30 bets on average. Bro reads comments like he raps them. I don't even listen to rap music anymore, which is crazy. All right. What else are we looking at? Zach Levine under 4.5 assists. He don't like passing the ball. And I agree. He doesn't like passing the ball, but no Malik Monk, no Sabonis. They're your top 2 assist guys. Somebody's got to pass the ball, right? Like, I'm not saying it's going to be Zach Levine, but I get your angle, but I can also see the risk in that too. Ty Jerome 3-point prop. Does Ty Jerome even have his props out yet? I don't bet 3-point props, by the way. I am his props are out. I am on 3-point prop rehab at the moment. I'm trying to get away from betting on 3-point props. Lines at 1.5. He's been cashing the hell out of this. So, yeah, it makes sense. But 13.5 points, I don't mind that as well. And you could argue that Ty Jerome is probably blowout proof, right? If there is a blowout, Ty Jerome's still going to get his minutes. So, yeah, I'd roll with that. I like the look. On God, leave Denny alone. Like, I'm not betting on Denny. What I'm saying, and I'm not the one injuring him either. Sub to the channel because your boy's getting busy. Backshots live from the west side of Sydney. Of course, I knew you were going to try to bring that shit in here. I knew it. Dinwiddie under 17.5. Yes, like this has come up 8 times already. Yes, I'm down for it. It makes sense. Whose bets have hit for you the most and the least this year? What player? I used to have a tracker that tracked this for me. So the players that I find difficult to bet on have been PJ Washington, Alperen Şengün. Those ones really stand out to me. The ones who I've bet on with a lot of success, I would say, geez, those in VIP can probably answer this one for me because, yeah, I tend to find a lot of, not the same, but similar types of players. I tend to bet on them a lot. And it's really scenario dependent. So some people stay in a good scenario for a longer period. And then if they're in that good scenario, then you can bet them a lot more. I can't even tell you who the ones are because I'm doing 15 bets a day. It's hard, but there's a few. Like right now, Jonas Valanciunas has been good to us. I have bet on Alfred Şengün for the last 2 or 3 games that he's played since Fred VanVleet's been out. I've got a real recency bias. I can't even remember last week, but hopefully if I do a live stream earlier when my mind's actually in a good place, I'll do it. Josh Hart, triple-double. What do you think? Look, Josh Hart in a back-to-back. He's got some sort of injury as well. I don't know if I'm down to play Josh Hart props. Yes, Joe Valeri's PRA. I'm down with it. You stay hitting Derek White's 3 points props. That's crazy. That's crazy. Get some sleep. Yeah, I'm on it. I'm starting to fatigue. Starting to fatigue. Yes. If you're asking like who I struggle to bet on, it is him. And it's like, it's not like when I pick him, he plays bad. It's like if I pick him, he does the opposite. Not the opposite. Like if I pick his assists, he scores a lot and he doesn't dime up. If I pick his rebounds, he somehow doesn't get rebounds even in a great matchup like he just had in that last game. So it's not like he plays bad. He just doesn't do what I think he's going to do. That's all. Great insight. You're one of the realest. What are your thoughts on staking an amount and betting daily odds of 120 and taking that? I've tried something like that before and it's not fun. But yeah, you could. And I'll tell you, this is the math behind it, right? So as a sports bettor and you're taking something at $1.20, which is like minus 300 or something, right? It's really likely that it wins. But if you do the math behind it, the odds that you're getting versus the actual implied probability, you're getting bad odds for it, which means over time, if you employed that strategy, you're more likely to lose. Happy you mentioned yesterday you'd bet on Şengün's points. I didn't have the option for points and rebounds, so I went for the points. Let's go. I'm glad you won because I didn't. Trey Under has been great to us. Yeah, actually, I bet on Trae Young a lot. Trae Young, early season Cade Cunningham, like those guys, somewhat easy to read, I would say. Like you can predict their games pretty well. Best player from down under is Josh Giddey. And then this as well. Lots of success betting unders, guards versus OKC. That's what a system play. Can somebody drop the plays? Yeah, can somebody drop the plays? Because I'm sick of repeating it. I didn't go into Booker's assists in detail because I'm going with Kevin Durant points. But yeah, the Booker assists, it makes a whole lot of sense. I think it just depends on Bill, whether Bill plays or not. So that's what I'm thinking. Love your show. You got me in a props madness big time. Curious your thoughts on Clay. He took 14 3-point shots last game, and the Grizzlies 28th most points allowed via above the break. Yeah. So Klay Thompson has a great matchup. He just went crazy in that Bucks game. Dallas are short-handed, so Clay should still get a long run of minutes. I question whether he's going to see that type of volume against Memphis, though. And I usually avoid players after they've had a massive game like that. So Klay Thompson just went off for 6. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'm a little bit scared of just betting on Klay Thompson. He's someone I haven't had too much success on betting this year. He's similar to Malik Beasley. Like, wait for him to suck and then bet he's over in the next game. Daft over 8.5 3 points made. I think that would be my line for a whole 12 months. Starting to fatigue means you get 30 more minutes. That's true. That's true. This is the thing. Like I get this when I'm working in the office as well. Think about this office environment. There's like 600 people, and there are times where like I need to leave as soon as my shift is finished, and it still takes me 30 minutes to get out of the building because my goodbyes take so long. But I also always give people time of the day. I never want to make it seem like I'm rushing to get away. But it's funny you say that because I've noticed I do that all the time. This is why like recording videos is actually probably better for my time, but live streams always seem easier in the moment. Next minute, I'm here till 1 a.m. Well, it's almost 1 a.m. here. So I'll just call that. All right. Are you a fart because you're blowing me away? My Lord. You think the people who invented sports betting with all the odds plus minus are human? Absolutely. There's some intelligent people out there, I'll just say. Oh, there we go. Those are the plays if you miss them. Jonas Valanciunas over his rebounds, Naji over his points, KD over 24.5 points. And for anybody who says, like, I withhold my best bets for VIP, it's not true. Anyone in VIP will tell you those are the 3 bets that I've put in VIP. That's all I have right now. When I wake up in 5 hours' time, then I'll cook through the rest of the games and see what other bets we've come up with. That's why, like, sometimes the YouTube picks go really well, but VIP sucks because the next round of picks that I looked at were awful. And sometimes vice versa. The picks I share on YouTube, sometimes they're not great, but then VIP somehow still has a good day. That's because the picks that I found the following day were winners. Like, I'm not withholding anything. I just have 3 bets on right now, and I'm sharing that all with you. And I think that makes great content. So I don't pick and choose which is good or not. These are just the bets that I have. So hopefully that clears things up for y'all. But look, outside of that, I'm going to bounce. It's been over an hour. It is almost 1 o'clock. My daughter will probably wake me up at about 5:30 to say, I want breakfast. And I don't know if you've ever tried telling a 3-year-old that you're too tired to make it, but they don't understand that. So I appreciate you guys popping in. I appreciate the chat, the banter. It's been good. It's been fun. I'll catch you guys in the next one. You guys want to hear that song? Because look, even if you don't, I'm going to play it anyway. Best of luck, y'all. Peace.
Sub to the channel cause your boy's getting busy. Coming to your line from the west side of Sydney. We've got the free picks and the juice on the daily. It's all free, you don't even have to